Good morning, Otselic Valley. I'd like to talk to you today about the Phase 2 capital project going before voters in June. This project is a $4 million referendum that includes no new tax impact and will utilize $875,000 of the district's capital reserve with voter authorization. This project includes work at both the South Otselic and Georgetown facilities. The work at the South Otselic campus includes enhanced lighting in the parking lot areas, and air conditioning in the math and science wing, and enhancements for both drainage and paving to upgrade the facilities.
Hi Otselic Valley, this is Business Administrator Dan Silky. Thank you for listening to me today. I'm here to talk about some of the exterior parts of the building and how they come into play with our Phase 2. As you can see right here, this is by our SAP house and our other storage building. As you can see, the ground isn't paved. We have both trucks and other vehicles traveling through here, and it beats up the ground quite a bit, as you can see with all the ruts. And I also want to point out that it's not that uncommon for us to have water come down this hill and flood out this area. So you're seeing some of the debris from that from the last time this area was flooded. If I can just draw your attention over here to some of the road, you might not be able to make it out that clearly, but there are several potholes and ruts along the way where our buses come through, and that creates a bit of a challenge, and for us it slows down traffic. It creates a bit of a more dangerous situation for our drivers and students who are riding when they have to go through those, and not to mention the damage it potentially poses to our buses. So with this Phase 2 project, we look forward to fixing some of these areas and making them a little more conducive to our learning environment. Hi Otselic Valley, once again it is Dan Silky, Business Administrator. I want to point out to everyone some additional places where there will be improvements with our Phase 2 project. As you can see here, part of our bus fleet. These vehicles stay here most of the time when they're not, of course, out and about picking up students and dropping off food. But as you can see, this area is not paved. Through discussions with our mechanic and our transportation committee, it's really not in the best interest of the district to have these vehicles on unpaved ground because of what they do to the undercarriage of the buses. That can deteriorate the buses quicker than it would if they were on pavement. So this is an area where we are looking to pave to provide better conditions for our fleet, not to mention improve the area with better lighting. As you can see, other than this one light right here, there isn't lighting surrounding this area, so that'll improve the safety of our staff and students and community as a whole as well.
The work at the Georgetown facility includes energy efficient heating system installed in the transportation wing of the Georgetown facility, an office and toilet room in the transportation wing of the Georgetown facility, and an in-ground bus lift. You may also see that the Phase 2 project includes tank removal and replacement in the Phase 2 of this capital project. This is also included in Phase 1. The reason for that is because when the bids came in for Phase 1, the district had to establish a bid alternate, and the Georgetown facility was named as the bid alternate for the tank removal and replacement. And with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, the bids that came in during that time were higher than anticipated. If we are under budget with Phase 1, that work will be included in the Phase 1 portion of the project. If they are higher than anticipated and over budget, they will be moved into Phase 2. Another important thing to keep in mind about the Phase 2 work planned at the Georgetown Transportation Facility is that the district has been working closely with the Town of Georgetown, and before the new year, we were informed that we received a fully funded $400,000 local government efficiency grant from the state of New York to work toward a municipal share in the Town of Georgetown, and the $400,000 grant award would cover a majority of the work that we've planned for the transportation facility.
Hi Otselic Valley, Dan Silky, Business Administrator here again. One of the questions that some of you may be asking is, why would we be choosing to do a capital project now with all the uncertainty going on with the coronavirus COVID-19? And I wanted to touch on that for a short while here. There really are some key points why now still makes sense to be doing a capital project. First off, we have what's called a debt service schedule, which simply can be compared to someone's mortgage on their house. We pay a mortgage payment, otherwise debt payments, each year, and this is for all of our past projects that we've done, going back 20, 30 years. And each year our debt payments change. They tend to trend downward. So one of the things that we like to do from a finance standpoint is manage that debt level so it doesn't go down too much, it doesn't go too high. So we like to keep that relatively smooth. It lends itself to predictability with taxes, and that's something that we try to manage. So a project like this will allow us to keep that debt level smooth so you're not seeing too many jumps and drops in your tax, so you can budget accordingly. So that's an important thing, and something that even in light of everything going on with the coronavirus, we still need to be attentive to. The next thing I want to mention is our capital reserve. Through some fiscal prudence by the current and prior administration, a reserve was set up for capital projects with excess money from prior years. So any money that hasn't been spent on the operations of a school district at the end of the year can be used in multiple ways. One of those ways is by funding reserves, in this case a capital reserve meant for a future project. So we have a capital reserve, we've had it for several years. There's an expiration date by which we need to spend that money, and we see this as a great opportunity to use that capital reserve, and perhaps most importantly, combined with building aid from the state, it'll actually result in no tax increase to you, the community, and the taxpayers. So we have this reserve, and we think that this is a sound way of using the money in that. The third reason that I like to think of doing capital projects is they're similar to investing in retirement, in the sense that a capital project is going to last you 20, 30, 40 years. It's kind of like planning for retirement. And as challenging as these times can be right now with the disease, in some ways it's not that different than some of the challenges we were up against in 2007, 2008, and even going back to the turn of the century, the economy collapse, the tech bubble, so to speak, back in 2000. These are events that are very challenging to get through, but they are temporary in terms of their time. Whereas a capital project and planning for the school, that's much longer term. We need to think of that in the sense of retirement. And while we certainly need to be mindful of what's going on right now, it really shouldn't change our long-term plan to provide a sound and adequate education for our children, our students. Lastly, one of the things I want to mention is our building aid ratio. At Otselic Valley, we have a building aid ratio of 86 cents on the dollar. So what that means is for each dollar that's spent on a capital project, we get 86 cents of that back from the state in the future. It's one of the higher aid ratios in the state. And we really want to be able to maximize that, especially in light of the past few years. Proposals have been made by the governor to revisit many of the aid ratios, including the building aid ratio. We certainly want to leverage the aid ratio we get right now, because if it is changed, it's very likely that for Otselic Valley, that ratio will drop. So we don't want to see that happen. And in the event that it does, we want to make sure we get as many of our capital projects and needs filled between now and then. So those are 4 key reasons why I think capital projects are important, even in times like we are in right now. Thank you.
Hello again, Otselic Valley. My hope is that this video presentation about the anticipated Phase 2 capital project has been informative. The district will also be posting a list of frequently asked capital project questions on the district website and social media pages. When you have an opportunity, please look at that list of frequently asked questions to gain more insights into the Phase 2 capital project. Because the district cannot have community meetings as we have in the past because of the COVID-19 pandemic, I have listed my cell phone number at the bottom of this video. If you have any questions that have not been answered, please contact me at your earliest convenience, and I will get right back to you as soon as I can. Have an excellent day.